I have a returning guest in today's episode who I'm really excited about. I knew I had to have her come back on because A, I love this woman with all my heart. And B, she is a shining example of what it means to be a female on fire. So I had to bring her back on for this series, of course. And she is none other than the amazing Amberly Lago. She is a leading expert in the field of resilience, transformation, and health and wellness. She really shares her passion for turning tragedies into triumphs. And she leads workshops, she does public events, she's actually a really sought after speaker. She has been featured on NBC's Today Show, TEDx, featured in magazines like Health Magazine, Shape Magazine, all the things. And in her last episode on my show, she went into detail about what had happened that really set her off in this powerful journey. I mean, she truly is an example of what it means to turn pain, to transform pain into purpose. She was in a really horrible, tragic motorcycle accident, and it changed the course of her life as she knew it. And she actually opened up a lot about that and shared that whole story in her first episode on my show. So I will put that episode link in the show notes in case you want to go listen to it. It's very powerful. I think I even got emotional. I remember getting emotional during that episode. It was really good. And that one we actually met in person. And that's when I knew I loved Amberly, by the way. When we met in person, it was like, oh my gosh, I love this woman. And she is a dear friend of mine now. And I'm so excited for you to really experience her today and allow her to show you how to really tap into your superpower of resilience and perseverance, because we all have that within us. We do. It's just about activating it. And you know that's what this Female on Fire series is all about, is activating all of these parts of you. And so in this episode, she's really going to be talking about what it means to be resilient and how you can tap into this superpower of your own so that you can really persevere and rise up from any and all of life's challenges. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. I am so excited to have you here, Amberly, for the second time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You guys listening, we're good. We're friends, and we've always vibed since we met each other. It was like love at first sight. So I just love you, and I'm super excited to dive in.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. And it was instant, like love at first sight. I've always felt like when we met that we were like soul sisters. We just instantly connected, and I feel like I've known you forever. So yeah, just thanks for having me here. And I'm just grateful to be here with you.
No, me too. I'm so grateful to have you. And you know, why I believe that you're truly a shining example of what it means to be a female on fire is, number one, I love how raw and real that you are, and how you really show everything, the behind the scenes, everything. Like, you're so vulnerable and how you share. That's the first reason. And secondly, I love that you own and rock your sexuality as a woman. I really feel that you do an incredible job of that, even given I know that you've opened up about your accident and how that affected you in terms of like how you viewed yourself and your body confidence. But girl, like, I'm telling you, the way that you have rocked and owned it and been confident. I mean, we both know, and I know that you understand that the sexiest, most attractive thing is when you are rocking what you've got, and you do that. And it's so attractive. It's so sexy. And I love that. I admire that about you as a woman.
Oh,
And
thank you.
number, yeah.
I'm like,
And
oh.
the third is you're a loving wife and mother, and you're a stand for resilience. And every one of us has gone through hardship in our lives. And I love that you support others in overcoming their hardship so that they can step onto the other side and tap into their own resilience.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, my whole intention is to just share the hope and the, inspiration that was given to me, because for a long time I felt so stuck. And it's even, I was getting emotional when I was listening to you say how I rock my, my what I've got. And for so long I didn't. And I mean, I hated the way I looked. I had no confidence. I had no worth. I felt like, after my accident, that everything was stripped down, stripped away, after almost losing my life, my career, everything. I had to go, well, where do I get my worth? And I had to really look deep within and start to realize I was worthy, even though I wasn't providing 6-figure income yearly anymore, even though I lost all my clients, even though I didn't look the same, that I was all scarred up. And man, oh man, that was such a process. And so I share, kind of the behind the scenes and the struggles that I've had, because I want other people to see that it is a process and it does take time, and it's a willingness, and that resilience comes from your grit, which I feel is your passion, is your connection to your why and your purpose, and what inspires you. And for me, being a mom is the most important thing in the world to me. And so my daughters inspired me to get out of bed. I thought, if I don't get out of bed, I will die here. And so they really inspired me to move forward. And so it took a long time and a lot of self-acceptance, but I feel like when we can accept where we are on our journey, we can start to take those steps to make our lives better. And sometimes that sounds really easy, but acceptance was so hard for me. I did not want to look the way I looked. I did not want to be in the situation I was in, where I didn't have income, where I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to accept the way that I looked and the nerve disease that I had. And sometimes I think it helps when we have people around us, or people that love us, or for me, it was even a doctor that I went in to go see him. And I'd had, 34 surgeries to save my leg. I had $2.2 million worth of medical bills. We had a lien on our house. So we had put all this money and all this effort into saving my leg. And I was going in to tell him, can you cut it off? It's giving me too much pain. I just need to go ahead and amputate it. And he was like, well, we can't do that. You have this nerve disease and it could make it worse. It could spread. But then he put my leg in his lap. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, I can't believe this doctor in his nice jacket is going to put my leg on his lap. Like, I just viewed my leg as so damaged and broken, and, was so upset that it didn't work the way that I wanted it to. It didn't, I used, my fitness career and dance career my whole life, and now it didn't work properly. And so I was just like, just cut it off. Let's, move forward, get rid of this. And he put it in his lap, and he looked at it like it was a masterpiece. Like it was, had a 1% chance of saving it. And he looked at it like, wow, look at what we did. Look, we put this back together. And I cried, and I thought, oh my gosh, if he can look at it that way, then maybe I can look at it that way too. And something shifted in me that day. And I started to love my leg a little bit more each day. And I started to view it differently. Instead of looking at it as broken and scarred, I now looked at all those scars as, look at what I have overcome. Look at what the body is amazing, how it heals. The human spirit is just amazing to me, what we can survive and what we can overcome. And I just got to a point in my life where I didn't want to just survive anymore. I wanted to thrive. And I thought, well, these are the cards I've been dealt, and I've got a choice here. I can give in and just give up and, let my pain define me, or I can use my pain and transform it into my purpose and play the hell out of these cards and live my best life possible. And we all have the ability to do that. And sometimes it's just a simple shift in your perspective.
Oh, so powerful. And I love that it really catapulted you into a deeper level of self-acceptance and self-love at a core level, because what we have, our bodies are amazing, as you said, and they're the most surface aspect of us, right? They're the most surface aspect. So it like invited you into an even deeper space within yourself, and realizing the masterpiece, the miracle that you are. And I love, what an angel, what an angel. Like I'm actually like getting kind of teary eyed, because like that, what a beautiful angel your doctor was. That is, for him to say that to you in that moment when you were right on the brink of giving up and throwing in the towel, for him to say that to you, he was an angel in that moment for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm getting teary just thinking about that time. And that's the thing, like you never know when you're going through your day or when you're on your journey, just one thing that somebody can say to you that just will change your life.
Oh, so true.
And I believe we meet people for a reason. We learn from them a lot. They inspire us, but I think that if we think of that going through our day and we can go, how can I be that person that shifts that other person's life for the better or spreads kindness? And because we never know what someone's going through. For me, I was trying to pretend like everything was okay on the outside. I mean, yeah, I would hide. I would wear baggy clothes so you couldn't see what I looked like. And I would try to keep a smile on my face, but on the inside, I was dying. I had lost my connection to my higher power. And you're right, this was an opportunity for me to go within and start to love myself. And I realized for a long time, I didn't really love myself too much. I would just try to work harder and, earn more money and do more. And that's how I would try to feel good. And if we're always chasing that next thing, that, next big job or whatever it might be that we're chasing or running from, because I was running from a lot of pain, we'll never truly be content. And I think if we can just get grounded with self-love and really get to know ourselves more and really set aside time to think about what our intentions are and what we really want in life, then I think our possibilities are endless and we can have that life.
So powerful, so beautiful. And when you first started this, and it's like, I feel like, there's definitely phases that we go through,
Mm-hmm.
right? When
Mm-hmm.
something traumatic like that happens to someone, they lose everything, or, a horrible heartbreak happens, or an injury that sets you back, and, anything like that. There's like these phases that you go through. I would love for you to kind of share what those phases were for you and how you sort of, because I know you figured it out along the way, like you really figured it out. I would love for you to share what that was for you and what you figured out along the way, of your resilience process.
Well, it's funny because I feel like I'm still figuring it out, and just
We
when I
always
think
are, sister.
just like, I have it, I've got it figured out. If I just do these things, then I'll be okay. And then lo and behold, something comes and things don't go your way or as planned. And then you got to go, okay, what can I do to make this better? Or what's my way around this situation? And so, but with complex regional pain syndrome, which is a nerve disease, I share that because even though someone listening or watching this may not have a nerve disease or chronic pain, pain is pain. And we all experience pain, or heartbreak, or, a lot of people right now who've lost their jobs or things have changed. And we all need to be able to really strengthen our resilience. And I remember, going to this conference I was speaking at, and my friend was driving me home, and she said, how do you do it with complex regional pain syndrome? She said, most people that have it, they don't speak at conferences. Some are in bed all day. Most are in wheelchairs or walkers. And there's some that work out with complex regional pain syndrome, but it's dubbed the highest on the pain scale, and there's no known cure. So you're in pain all the time. And she said, how do you do it? How do you continue to show up? She said, you need to take a look at what you do and share that. And so that night I got home and I was in a lot of pain. I had my leg propped up on the dinner table, and my husband looks at me and said, you really need to pace yourself. And I said, I do pace myself. And then I don't know if it's like my stubbornness or if it was me trying to prove him wrong or really take a look at what I was doing, but I just started writing down everything that I did throughout the day, every day, because resilience is something that we have to work on every day. It's not like we get to get to go, okay, I'm resilient, and then you're just resilient. It's kind of like confidence. It's not that you're confident and then you just keep that and you're always there. You have things that come and kind of knock that confidence out of you, and you have to know where to dig deep to find it again.
New levels, new devils.
Exactly. Isn't that the truth? I mean, isn't that the truth? And so for me, I started writing everything down, and I came up because I need something quick. Like I need a reminder word. I need to think of something that can snap me out of, when my mind starts to take me, I'll be talking, saying, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. Who do you think you are? Or if I'm really overly tired and feel like, what have I done wrong? I can think of this word I call PACER, and it stands for perspective, acceptance, community, endurance, and rest. And if I'm not feeling great, if I'm, in more pain, if I'm feeling sad or whatever, I'm like, what did I not do today that's making, what can I do to make me feel better, to make me be more resilient? And so the first thing I do, and this is something I do throughout the day, is I constantly shift my perspective, because the moment that I get out of bed, I'm instantly in pain. I used to be able to get out of bed, seriously, have my running shoes right by the bed, slip them on without even brushing my teeth, run out the door and go for a run first thing in the morning. Now it's different. I wake up and I walk like I'm 100 years old. I hurt. And so if I don't have the right mindset, I could let that pain spiral me down into negative self-talk, into, well, I'm hurting too bad, I'm just not going to do anything today. Or, you know what, I think I need some ice cream, or whatever my comfort food or comfort thing is. But instead, I think about, what am I grateful for? And I think that a morning routine is so important because it sets a tone for the day. And I know you share in your stories on
So
Instagram
important.
that you do that as well. And I think everybody has to have their own kind of way of their morning routine. And for me, mine is definitely prayer and being connected with God, journaling, writing what I'm grateful for, writing my intentions down, taking some time to meditate. But then I think that it's important to take action on that and be accountable. And I think if we have somebody that we can reach out to, whether that's an accountability partner or a coach or a mentor to check in with, it keeps us on track better. So for me, I have an accountability partner, and I text her every morning, 3 things I'm grateful for. And I will screenshot something that I've read out of one of my books, one of my spiritual books or a self-development book, and send that. And it just starts your day out so much better. So when things come up throughout the day, you can shift your perspective a little easier. When things, you can go, okay, well, wait a minute. How can I look for the good in this? How can I count my blessings? And I know that sounds like so simple, like be grateful. But really, when there were moments when I was stuck in the hospital bed, when I realized this really helped was, I was looking down at my leg and I had no idea, is today the day they're going to cut it off? Am I going to get through the day? Am I going to go septic again? I never knew. Am I going to get through the next surgery? Am I going to wake up? And so what I did was, I noticed a huge difference when I would write down in my journal and reminders of who to write thank you notes to, because I was pretty drugged up. I was like, well, I don't want to forget to write these thank you notes. And when I put my focus on the people that I was thankful for and all the nice things they brought me and how grateful I was, it totally shifted my perspective. And I stopped thinking about my leg and am I going to live or die? And I just was so present in the moment and grateful for what I did have. And so, and if the next part of PACER is acceptance, but if we don't look at what's going on, if we don't admit when something's not working or something's not right, then we can't take steps to fix it. And so acceptance, I think, is really key in the beginning to any healing journey. Whether it,
accepting what is, right? Accepting the reality of what is.
And to me, you know, I felt a little bit like it was surrendering, but you know, in a way it was surrendering and letting go and going, okay, well, there's, you know, it's like I have the serenity prayer on my office desk, and I think it's so important to go, okay, well, what can I change, what can't I change, what can I do? And so when we're in acceptance, we can take those steps to make our life better. But for me, I was in denial. You know, I was drinking every day to try to numb out the pain. I did not want to look at myself in the mirror. I didn't want to look at my situation. But when I did, that is when my life started to change drastically. And I mean, and it's not just the physical side of things changing, it was the mental. My mindset changed. I started working again. I started, you know, having that passion inside me again and believing in myself again. And then I feel like we all have that light within us. And when we find things to really just fan our flames, that's when we can start to take those action steps and life gets better and better and better. And it's important to have a community of people, and that's the next part of Pacer is community and connection. And I think it might be the most important part. If you want to be resilient, you have to surround yourself by people who are inspired and passionate, and they have good vibes, good energy. And I notice when I'm around people that don't make me feel good, and I just don't want to be around them anymore, you know? And I think that's hard sometimes to set those boundaries. But when we know our values and you write them down, write your values down, like what are they? Mine are, you know, honesty, authenticity, integrity. Those things are so important. And it's, you know, when I'm around people that are, you know, saying one thing and then they're doing another thing, or they're talking bad about this person, and then they go and I see that they're hanging out with them and being nice. I'm like, that's not integrity. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel good. So I think it's really important to take a look at the people that you're surrounding yourself around, you know, and really audit your circle, because you will start to act and become just like them. And then the next part of Pacer is endurance. And it takes a lot of endurance, I think, especially as a mom, as an entrepreneur, just getting through COVID, you know, with everything changed. I mean, right before we got on our meeting here, I was downstairs. I took a break and went downstairs, and I'm like the lunch lady. And then you got to squeeze in time to figure out, okay, how am I going to get my work out in today? And I think just getting through so many struggles, it takes endurance. And that is really where your passion and perseverance come into play. That's where you get your grit. That's where for me, it's like when we won't always feel motivated, you know, unless you're superhuman. I don't know. I'm not always motivated. And I think what really motivates me is thinking about my why. Why am I doing all the things that I do in the first place? What sets my soul on fire? And that is to connect with other people, to inspire them, to give them hope, to show them that there is a way through challenges and pain. And so when you need that endurance, it's really habits too. I feel like, you know, it's great if we're motivated, but on those days where we're not motivated, if we have our good habits in play, then we're going to have smart feet. We're going to go and do it anyway. It's going to just be something that if you want to be healthier, then you're going to set a habit of every day to, like right now, I have a 30-day move your body challenge. And I am amazed at all the people that mostly struggle with pain, or other like things going on that are big in their life. They're joining the challenge. And I think it's because it's community, and we're accountable to each other. We
There's
are
something
motivating each
really
other.
there's something really powerful about that group. I mean, this is why I have group programs. I know you do too. And there's something powerful. And like you said, in the community, in the group, the accountability it creates, the momentum it creates, the energy it creates. And I loved earlier when you said that you have an accountability partner that you text every morning. Is that a friend of yours? Is it a coach, a mentor?
It is a friend of mine. I've always had mentors in my life, except right now I don't, and I would love to have one. Um, but when I became a fitness trainer, I had a mentor who showed me how to run a business. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I knew how to scale my business, not just because, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid to do something I love. But I had a business earning six figures and trainers that worked for me, and it's because I had a mentor who was very successful before me, and they showed me the way. When I got into coaching, I had a mentor. Not only did I go to class or school and get certified, but I had a mentor that showed me how to do it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
when I became a speaker, I went and took a class on how to put together a presentation, and then was scared as hell to like get in front of the camera. The first time I went over, it was like a 6-week course, and 5 parts of those we had to get in front of the camera, which I was unaware of. And I get there the first day I'm there, right away they get me on camera. And after about an hour, I had to sit on a stool. I said, you know what? No offense, but this is making me really sick. It was so hard because it was just so much pressure. Like they would give me a line and go, bam, talk about it. And it was just hard.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think that, no matter what you're going to do, when I wrote a book, I took a class. I had a great, incredible
Mhm.
instructor who showed me how to write a book, and so I think a lot of people don't I think because I have people come to me and ask me quite a bit, like, do you think I need a coach? And my answer will always be, yes,
Yes.
you need
Yeah.
a coach. And I'm not just saying that to try to like sell people on get a coach. But
No, it's
yes, you can do it on your own, no doubt about it. But if you want to be more successful, get to point A to point B faster, if you want to scale your business faster, I believe you need somebody that knows what they're doing, that's done it before you, that can guide you along the way.
that
Not
you
that you
trust.
that
Mhm.
you trust, and you don't have to
Yeah.
do everything exactly what they say, but you can learn from them. And
Mhm.
again, accountability,
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
What you said is so true. Yes, you can. You can do it all yourself. That's absolutely possible. We're not saying that you can't get to point B by yourself. And that's something like I'm always super clear, trying to be super clear about. But the analogy that I like is, let's say that you're here, let's say I'm in Tulum, right? And I want to get to Japan. Okay, I'm in point A, Japan is point B. I could take a rowboat and I could roll my way to Japan, or I could take a jet plane, right? So doing it yourself is like taking a rowboat and trying to row there. You'll get there eventually, you'll get there. But the jet
Hmm.
plane is when you lean into support, when you get the coaching, when you get the group, when you get the accountability, the support, the mentorship. That's the jet plane to where you want to go. It just makes it quicker. I'm the same as you. I've always had mentors and coaches. I'm always a part of groups. I'm a part of 2 masterminds right now. Actually 3. I'm a part of 3 masterminds. I have 2 coaches, and I will for the rest of my life. That's my lifestyle. That's what I'm choosing because I know I want to keep moving. I want to keep the momentum.
Hmm. And I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that analogy because, man, for me, when I have done things all by myself, it does feel like I am rowing from Tulum to Japan. I swear. It's like, oh my God, I am in a rowboat, filled with quicksand. That's what it feels like. But yeah, and you know what? I grew up with an incredible mom, busy dad. My mom worked sometimes 4 jobs at a time just to pay the bills. And there were 7 of us kids all together. And so we had to figure things out. We had to learn to be self-reliant at a very young age. And my mom wasn't she couldn't be there for every single thing that one of her kids was doing as much as she tried. I mean, she's like the most incredible mom. But because I had such great teachers, I had an incredible coach and I had an incredible dance teacher who really, my dance teacher at age 13, I took a mentorship program where I learned how to be a teacher and I had to go through this long program, and it was long hours, and I lived at the dance studio, but she taught me business and she taught me how to show up for clients. I remember, I mean, this is back in the day when we still used record players. She said, I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care if your dog died. She goes, when it's time to teach that class, you put the needle on the record and turn around and teach that class. And then, my track coach was like, I don't care if you've got blisters on your feet, and I don't care if you feel like you're going to throw up, as long as you throw up on off of the track and get back on the track and keep running. And it's like, all those things like really taught me grit. They taught me that determination and perseverance, and man, you keep going. But my accident, and I used to always push through pain. My accident taught me the R part of Pacer, which is rest, which is recovery, which is restoring yourself, your sanity. Because I think our mental health, our physical health, I mean, it's so important. And if we don't have that rest, it's really hard. But if you don't have like a coach or a mentor that you can trust, that teaches you these things, that teaches you, and like you said, we keep bringing up this word accountability, but I think it's so important, because it's easy
Absolutely.
to get lost and kind of lose your way and start watching Netflix.
I love that idea that Amberly has of every morning texting and having that person that also maybe does the same thing, right? So I encourage you, I invite you to select a friend who you trust, who empowers you, and you can empower her or him, and create that accountability partnership. I think that's so powerful and a great place to start. Absolutely. I'm also going to say here, because this episode, we don't have enough time to dive all the way in. However, we have another episode that we did together where we also dove into I asked questions about these steps as well in Pacer. So I'm going to reference that below. If you love Amberly, which I know you do, who doesn't? This woman's amazing and inspiring. I'm going to link that. I'm going to link that other episode below so you can listen to more of her and our conversations, which are always amazing. And I'm also going to link toward, I know you have your podcast, so I'll be sure to link that. Where else? I know you hang out on Instagram. Where else can people find you and learn more about you?
Yeah, well, you know what? Keep in touch. Some people like texting better than email. So you can always text me at 818-214-7378. And if you text the word grit to that number, then you will get a downloadable Goals, Grit, and Grace workbook. And the reason I share that is because so often we'll hear something and we're just like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Yep. But no, like take the step. Do the download, do something that's going to keep you motivated and be accountable. So, and then you can always reach me at amberlylago.com or Instagram. I'm always hanging out there too. At
Awesome.
Motivation.
Yes, I'll be sure and link all that in the show notes for the listeners. And then also there is one final question that I have for you, Amberly. And this is something that I actually ask every guest who's in the 11 women who are in this Female on Fire series. And that question is, what is something that you used to hide, mute, or dim that you have reactivated about yourself, that you've reignited along your transformational journey to becoming the female on fire that you are today?
I think that would most definitely be two things. My sobriety, which I used to be very ashamed of, because I went from this elite athlete sponsored by Nike to an alcoholic. And, I'm married to a lieutenant commander with the California Highway Patrol, which is a big thing to like cover up drinking from when you live with a cop. And so I carried so much shame about that. And I think that once again, I was able to accept that, I've been sober for about 4.5 years ago. That's something that I'm so proud of now, because if I didn't have my sobriety, I wouldn't have the relationships with my loved ones, with you. I wouldn't have this honor to sit here with you right now. And so I share that because I hid that for a long time. I hid my drinking. And then when I got sober, I went from hiding my drinking to hiding going to a 12-step recovery program because I didn't want my husband to know. I didn't want it was crazy. But once you can just let go of the shame, it is like it's freedom. It's really what it is.
Liberation.
It's liberation. So I think that, and I think that finally being an acceptance of all my scars, because I'm so scarred from the hip down, and, it used to drive me crazy that I was a dancer and pointed my toes and had these beautiful pointed toes. And now my ankles fused and I'm completely metal from the knee down to my toes. And to be able to wear shorts in public, that's liberating as well. And I remember when I first started, I was walking and I looked back and I caught somebody just looking at my, leg going, oh my God, what happened to her? But now I look at my leg and I'm so proud that I still have it. Like I worked so hard to keep this leg that it's like, no, it works for me. I'm walking when I was told I was going to be in a wheelchair for my whole life. So I am so proud of that. And so I think if we can look at those things and shine light on those things, then we can start to let others shine their light too.
Yes, yes. So powerful. Shining light on our darkness. That's the only way we can overcome it. So it's beautiful. Thank you so much, Amberly. I love you. I adore you. Thank you for sharing your heart with listeners today. And I'll be sure to put all the ways that they can connect with you in the show notes. And just thank you for spending your energy and your time here with us today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I love you.